covering in this session. We will be discussing different threats to the fintech industry related to cybersecurity. I'll be covering the key trends that shaping the future of cybersecurity, the strategies and the roadmap for fintechs in the context of cybersecurity, and how do we can protect the sensitive financial information that fintech has, and how do we protect that from cyber attacks, and how we can maintain the trust and reputation of fintech organizations from cyber threats, because this is a very important topic nowadays: reputation and trust.
Yeah, I think Kamran, this is definitely a really interesting topic because when it comes to reputation and trust, when it comes to fintech industry, I think it's definitely a really interesting one. So I'm particularly interested to know why is cybersecurity particularly critical for fintech companies compared to other industry? Because I understand cybersecurity is equally important in other industry as well when these are digital, but why particularly fintech?
Yeah, this is a very great question. Cybersecurity is very important, especially for fintech industries, because the fintech industries, they are getting the financial information from different industries, especially the banking sectors. So they are having integration with the banks, with other industries, and they are getting the information from the banks. So that information has valuable information related to the customers of the banking sector. So what you need to do, you need to protect that information uh, during the communication from different threats. So there are different strategies that you can adopt to protect that information, especially for the fintech industry. This is very important to protect the information they are getting from their partners. So here I'll be discussing different threats that are currently very in hot trend nowadays, and that includes, like for example, the ransomware attacks, the supply chain third-party attacks, phishing and social engineering attacks, cryptojacking, uh, deep fakes. This is a very latest technology, and nowadays very in business nowadays for the cyber attackers. And insider threats, another important threat that impact the organizations uh, in terms of cybersecurity. So let's move on to the first threat, that is basically the ransomware attack. So what is ransomware? Ransomware is basically what attacker does. He gets access to your information, organization information, and he encrypts your information so that you are not able to access your information. So in if I talk in terms of fintech industry, the fintech has very valuable information. They are getting the information from the banking sector, and when an attacker encrypts that information, and he will access that information, and what you have to do now, they will ask you for the ransom. They You have to pay a huge amount to the attacker, to the and to decrypt that information. So this is very critical nowadays, because this definitely impact the reputation of an industry and the trust of your customers. So there are different strategies you can adopt to overcome the ransomware attacks. Like for example, you have to take the backups of your data. You must make sure that your data must back up properly daily or weekly, so that in case of your data gets encrypted, you have the backup available so that you can restore your data without giving financials or ransom to the attackers. So in fintech industry, this is very common nowadays. So organizations are now defining strategies to take the backups of their critical data to save their reputation in terms of financial data. So this is one of the major attacks nowadays, right now. The other important attack is supply chain attacks. Supply chain attack is also called third party your suppliers. And what happened now, because you are having partners, third party vendors, suppliers, you are getting services from those suppliers, from the vendors, and the organizations are dependent on their products. So sometimes what happens when you are busy in looking after your operational processes, you are not able to have a focus on your suppliers. And what happened is that the attackers takes the information, and they are targeting your suppliers, and they came to know, okay, that this supplier is vulnerable right now. He has this product, and this product is not up to date with latest patches. So it has vulnerabilities, and what the attacker does, he he targets that specific service and exploit that service. So what you have to do is you have to overcome this thing, and you must have a proper SLA with your partners, and they have to update their services, their applications with proper patches, so they are not vulnerable. So this is a very important area nowadays. Like recently, SolarWinds, one of the biggest name in the industry, they are providing services to the different customers, and one of their module having vulnerability that is got exploited by the attacker. So the best thing is, yeah. Any question?
Yeah, Kamran. So this is very interesting because since I'm from fintech industry, I understand when it comes to supply chain, there's a perception about supply chain in fintech industry that it is not applicable to fintech industry. So my question to you, how supply, because again, it's a perception, and perception means typically there is an understanding supply chain is applicable in manufacturing industry mainly, etc., or trading, not typically fintech. So how exactly supply chain is applicable to fintech industry?
Yeah, it's 100% applicable to the fintech industry, because fintech industry, if I'm establishing a fintech industry, I'll definitely have to run my operations. And what happened if I have to run my operations? I have to take the services from any third party. They will be suppliers, the vendors. So to enable my operations, I will take the services from the third party. They will provide me the services. I have an SLA with them. So it's 100% applicable on the fintechs as well, because there is a regulator. You have to ensure the compliance, so you must have the SLAs with the third-party suppliers. This perception is not 100% correct that it is not applicable to the fintech industry, because fintech is also a separate industry. They are providing services and taking services from other industries as well. So this is 100% applicable to the fintech industry as well.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, the other one of the major cyber threats nowadays is phishing and social engineering attacks. So what happened is you have to give awareness to the users. Like if I'm talking about the fintech industry, you must educate your employees. You must have to give awareness to them regarding what is the policy of the organization, what are the policies, how we can maintain how the security in the organization, how to secure our critical assets. So why these attacks happened? Because of not giving proper awareness and education to the users. And what the attacker does, the attacker gets your valuable information from your customers, from your employees, because they will send you some malicious links. Like when you are browsing something, there the attacker puts a malicious link in the browser. When you click on the browser, a malicious application or service gets installed on your computer. And what happened when that gets installed on your computer? It can be a virus, it can be a malware that can spread across the organization, and it will harmly impact the reputation of the organization. It will harm your critical data, because with that malicious URL or link, the attacker is able to get access to your systems and your financial data. So you need to give awareness to the users. Either it can be your third-party suppliers or it can be your employees as well. So this is one of the major attacks nowadays. This is another new type of attack, new technology, the crypto jacking. So what basically is crypto jacking? In crypto jacking, the attacker is basically takes the access to your the resources of your computer, and it's basically related to the cryptocurrency. Like there are different organizations, they are performing cryptocurrency transactions. So in cryptocurrency transactions, you need a huge resources that has high computing power, so that cryptocurrency transactions successfully takes place. So what attacker does, if I recently in the previous slide I talk about the phishing and social engineering attack. What the attacker does, he send you a malicious link. You click on the link, and a URL, a service gets installed on your computer. And what happened? He will takes the resources of your computer, and he will use your computer as a crypto mining. And in that your computer, all resources, computation power will be using by the attacker to perform the cryptocurrency transactions. So in the next slide, this is the next slide. There are different types of crypto jacking attacks. Like it can be in the form of browsing, it can be in the form of URL, it can be in the form of ads, or in the form of email. So the attacker sends you the malicious thing in different formats. So what are the indications that your computer gets hacked? So you will have your computing resources 100% utilized. Your utilization of the computer will be utilizing 100%, slow performance, slow memory utilization 100%. These are the indications that your computer got hacked right now and somebody is using the resources of your computer. These are the steps the attacker uses. Different forms of attacks he uses to hijack your computer, and he makes sure that he uses your computer for the cryptocurrency transactions. This is one of the important insider threats, the attack nowadays. Insider threats are basically comes from your employees, your third party suppliers, because your partners, they are also your insider employees, partners as well. So for this, what you can do, you have to educate your users, because the phishing and social engineering attacks comes from the insider threats, mainly from the insider threats, because when you are not educating your users, there is a 100% chance that the insider threats will occur. One of the thing is the disgruntled employee. Like for example, an employee is not happy from his salary, from his performance. He is not giving a good rating. So what he can do, he can leak your data, he can give an access to some outsider to your malicious data. So there is a chance that your financial or your critical data gets leaked outside the organization. Okay, so this is another important topic, that is the rise of deep fakes.
Yeah, this is definitely, Kamran, as you mentioned in the beginning, it's definitely important. Rise of deep fake, and deep fake from a political perspective, definitely. Now we all know how deep fake is being used
Yes.
in countries politically. I agree with you. So, how can a strong customer cybersecurity practices enhance customer trust and loyalty in the fintech sector? When I say
Yeah.
loyalty, it's very important because sometimes I'm surprised loyalty is ensured through cybersecurity. What's the relevance?
Yeah, actually, first of all, like what is deep fake is? Deep fake is basically the attacker uses different information, like he uses artificial intelligence tools to
Mhm.
to use, and like for example, I am targeting some organization, specific person, a CEO of a company. So what you can do, you can collect the data of that specific person, like his voice, his audio, and his images. And what you can do, you can use some specific tools to give the input to that software, and he can compile or simulate a fake video or audio for you. So there are two like modules of this software. The first one gathers the data, and the second module compares the original video with the fake video, and he can tell you either it is realistic or not. So the two modules collects the data and tells you how much realistic is. So this is basically the deep fake. So if I'm talking about the industry, the trust and loyalty, there are regulations that you can follow to make sure that you can avoid these types of deep fakes technology. There are different tools now the industry is working to introduce, like Microsoft Synthetic Recorder. This is a tool that Microsoft established or developed nowadays. What this tool does, it compares the video, and it tells you, it scores the video, and it tells you either this is a realistic video or this is a fake video. There are different other tools that helps you out to avoid these types of attacks. Like one is the deep fake crawler is a tool that helps you out to investigate and to find out whether this video is realistic or this is fake. So there are standards available in the industry. Like if I'm talking about the in terms of cybersecurity, the standard is ISO 27001. This standard ensures your customers trust on you because it has defined some controls for you that an organization must implement in the organization so that the customer must came to know, okay, this organization is ISO 27001. It
Mm.
means the organization is following and complying with the policies, with the procedures, with the objectives defined by the standard. So the trust is automatically developed by your partners, your customers, and the loyalty is also established because you have customers that is with you since last couple of years. So you have to give them awareness that we are now ISO certified, we achieve this certification, we achieve PCI DSS certification, we are complying with these standards and regulations, and we are ensuring the trust of our customers on us. So this is how you can achieve the trust of your customers.
Yeah, so Kamran, this is very good, interesting because so one question is where exactly the utilization of deep fake this technology in fintech. So if I can share one example, probably based on some experience, is electronic KYC because in electronic KYC, not particularly in UAE, but typically globally, there are two set of standards required when it comes to electronic KYC. One is identification and verification and validation of your ID, national ID, and second is facial recognition. So I still remember, I think 2016, 17, when the idea of this facial recognition mainly started from western part of the world. There were different models. One of the model they were using is recorded video. So recorded video, you record, customer record their video and they share this recorded video with the respective financial institution, and institution used to onboard them. But subsequent to that event, institutions started realizing that the model is not too effective in terms of fraud risk mitigation because customer can use a deep fake technology to create their own, or someone else can do that and definitely use this to complete onboarding. But now I think most of the institution I've seen is they are more or less avoiding the idea of recorded videos. They need liveliness check with some definitely additional controls, and this is a good mitigation to mitigate the risk of deep fake. So I just want to share one example. Over
Yeah,
to you.
you are 100% right because I'm also working in the capital industry and we are also having a KYC application. So
Mhm.
what in the capital market does when an investor comes to invest in the capital market, he must fill his data in the KYC form and he must go through the verification process. So there are different checks in his verification, like the biometric, the facial recognition. So everything is live. You know, the
Mm.
investor performs the live verification in order to make sure that his account is live. So yes, you are right. But nowadays, to avoid these types of attacks, the organizations are facing a huge operational cost
Mm.
because they must ensure the compliance, and if they are not complying with the policies, and in case of any breach, they must have to face a huge penalty from the regulator. So to overcome this, they have to invest a huge money to acquire a tool like this so that they can be able to detect frauds like this. As I told you that Microsoft has a product like Video Authenticator that helps you or the clients to detect whether this video is fake or authentic.
Oh.
So yes, the attacks are there, but the operational cost is also increasing day by day because you have to ensure the compliance, you have to make
Mm.
sure the trust of the customers is there. So you have to invest a huge amount of money to comply with all these things.
Mm.
Okay, so what are the risks and implications that fintechs must face in terms of like deep fakes? The fraudulent transactions, as I've discussed recently,
Mm.
regulatory and compliance risks are there, the operational disruption, as I told you in the previous slide, and the reputation damage. So, all these are the risks currently the fintech are facing if I talk about the deep fake technology. So if I talk about the fraudulent transactions, uh, now what is happening in the deep fake? Like deep fake is basically a combination of information. Like
Mm.
for example, if I have the social security number, so what the attacker does, he combines the original social security number with some fake information like your address, your email address, your phone number, your first name, your last name, and he can use that information combinedly, and he can open an account with a bank or with a fintech company, and like not a single account, multiple accounts. And if that organizations don't have the technology, the tools to detect the frauds, so he can easily breach the data, the financial data, and he can easily make the fraud. So the synthetic identity is basically like you are mixing the real identity with some fake information. These are called like synthetic identities. So reputation damage. What happened? Like for example, as I told you in the previous slides, in case of non-compliance with the regulatory policies, or you are not fulfilling your promises. Like for example, you designed a policy and that policy got breached. So what happened? Like your reputation got damaged. Like some attacker shares a false information on the internet regarding your organization, so that false information can badly impacted your reputation or the organization reputation. And samely with the phishing attacks. So these are all the techniques the attacker uses nowadays to badly impact the reputation of any organization.
So, Kamal, here's a question about, because since we are talking about reputational damage, uh, we understand there are solutions available. There is cost also. There are cost implications. I fully agree with you. But what could be the effective cybersecurity strategy to contribute to the overall stability and reputation of the fintech company? Because I'll tell you something, when it comes to fintech and cybersecurity, cybersecurity is generally considered, although I'm talking about fintech industry, means technology, financial technology, cybersecurity is generally considered as an expensive solution. If you build something in-house, a team, fintech, fintech means a small company, kind of a startup. So if you build a cybersecurity team and you acquire and purchase all the relevant solutions, it is definitely expensive. What do you think? What could be a right strategy to mitigate to manage this the expectation?
Like this is very excellent question. Like now organizations nowadays facing lots of budgetary constraints,
Yeah.
especially the cybersecurity department, as I'm also currently working in the cybersecurity team. So we are also facing budgetary constraints. So what happened is you need to first take on board the higher management, the senior management, your board. You must take them on board. You have to perform risk assessment. You have to tell them the risks currently the organization is facing. You have to do gap analysis. Right now we are here and we have to achieve these goals. So the risk you have to mention to the higher management, and now it is the higher management decision. Either they can mitigate those risks, either they can say, okay, we are having some budgetary constraint, so we have to accept those risks. But there are some times when the regulator comes in and he told you that you must have to do this thing to maintain the credibility of your organization.
Mm,
So in that case, the management must mitigate those risks, and they must allocate the budget to the organization to mitigate those risks. But you need to take basic steps. Like as I told you, ISO 27001 is the basic standard to
mm,
maintain the cybersecurity in the organization. So you must have to implement ISO 27001
mm,
first in the first step. Once you did this, it means that yes, you are not 100% secure, but up to some extent you are secured from cyber attacks.
mm,
Then slowly and gradually in phases, you go to the management and tell them about the risk you are facing right now, and and the management allocates the budget to you in phases. So this is how you can do it. But yes, you are right that cybersecurity, for cybersecurity solutions, you need a huge cost. But
okay.
right now, as we are in the world where inflation is the main factor, so this is a very like tough decisions for organizations to spend whole money on cybersecurity budgets.
Mm,
So slowly and gradually, the organization must achieve it, but at least you can do some base. You must follow the basic practices. Like first, implement the ISO 27001 standard. That is the first step to ensure that yes, you are secure, not 100%, but at least you are 60 to 70% secure from cyber threats because you are having the controls. Either that controls are technical controls, those are administrative controls, like in the form of policies, procedure guidelines, or they are like detective controls. Detective controls, I can say you are having CCTV monitoring or those kind of things. So the standard ensures the basic security controls to you. Okay, should I move on?
Yeah, since we have 7 minutes left, Kamran, so yeah, definitely you can.
Right. Okay, so the other is the operational disruption the organizations are facing. As I told you, like once you have got attacked by any attacker or you are having cyber threats in your organization, so you get your operational gets disturbed, your financial transactions got disturbed, the customer trust got breached, your data gets breached. So what happened is like the social engineering attacks. This is very important because if you're not giving awareness and education to the users, this definitely can happen and you will be facing by operational disruption. Now, what are the risks and implications by the deep fakes? Like enhanced verification, you have must have the AI powered tools to detect the deepfake attacks. You must have the employee and employee awareness education. You have to do that thing, the legal and regulatory things. So these are all the risks and implications an organization must be accountable for, and they must follow these things to avoid these risks and implications. Like what are the key trends right nowadays in terms of I talk about the cybersecurity. So the rise of biometrics is one of the key things the organization is facing issues with. Then the open banking technology, the zero trust. This is a latest trend nowadays in the industry. The organizations are implementing nowadays the quantum computing, AI and machine language technology implementation is another thing, and cyber resilience. This is also another important topic, cyber resilience. Okay, as we have short time, so I will make this thing short. Like there are in legacy, what we are doing, we are having like physical biometrics. So that biometrics are lacking in different technologies. So in the new world, in like nowadays, we are having some behavioral biometrics that works on human behavior. But yes, there are some risks and challenges with this new technology of biometrics, like the environmental factors and like false positives. It will give you fake information. Sometimes it will not authenticate the actual